usually I walk into these episodes and I've already started a joke of some sort, or some kind of weird conversation.
You usually do.
And I totally messed it up this time. I've totally boned it. I'm a failure. I'm a failure as a host. This is it. This is the last episode of Moving Attack ever.
Why you gotta be like that, Jason?
I'm going to introduce everybody.
We'll just replace you.
What are you looking for?
What do you think I'm looking for?
I have no idea.
Where is he? Where's my
Oh, where are you looking at? Oh,
There he is. Give him to me.
Oh,
God.
So I'm going to introduce everybody to our new host, the Demon Balor. He will be replacing me after this episode. I'm the Demon Balor.
Just be warned, guys. He's just a puppet host. Terrible. You're gonna fucking sleep with that thing tonight, aren't you?
You damn right I'm sleeping with the Demon Balor. It's the closest I'm going to get to sleeping with Finn Balor.
Poor Amber's like, fuck, I don't care anymore.
I joined.
Amber's being the most old lady in the back of the car ever. Look at this, she's knitting.
Oh, you're knitting?
Yeah.
Aw.
Well, I'm crocheting, but yeah.
Knitting.
Shut up. You're 40 years old and you got a plush doll.
It is a plush action figure.
No, it's a plush doll. That's what came up on the register.
This is the Dollarama's register. I'm not exactly giving them credit for how to properly.
And you pay $4 for it.
$4 whole dollars.
$4 whole dollars.
$4 whole dollars for the Demon Balor.
Less than the Click is going to be.
Exactly. Half of the price of the Click.
Oh wow.
Actually, less than half of the price, given how the Canadian exchange is going to work on that.
God.
They're going to be like $12 each.
Be cheaper probably just to get the actual guy to come to the store. Can you just do this for me?
Look, I need you to stand on this. What is this? It's a dial. Just stand on it. Probably be cheaper in that case.
True.
All right. And it's a Moving Attack. So what do? We collect your questions online through a beautiful little form that we put in the description of our videos, and we answer them. Because it helps us to kill some of the time on the road trips. And this one to Montreal, she's a doozy. She's a 5+ hour trip. So we are in it for the long haul, and thank goodness, because we got lots of questions to go, courtesy of our big fan Malcolm Rush. He likes to ask questions in groups of 7. So he's a big contributor to this, and his contributions are about to start after this first question, coming from an anonymous user. So at one point, apparently we mentioned a man-thing force or team.
Sure.
I'm going to take your word for it.
Probably.
He's made one himself, this player, and they want to know what the best modern map to play with the man things are. Do they have ignore hindering for movement, Amber?
I'm not sure. They should.
You'd think they would. I know they're at least fish symbol, I think. They're aquatic.
Yeah.
So you need a little bit of hindering, a little bit of aquatic water. We do that Weird World map.
There's the Weird World map because that's got like water like halfway through it. There's also the New York Harbor map that came out. That's got like half of its water, and you've got like that burning wreckage.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, that was one of the Cataclysm maps.
Yeah. Yeah. From Earth X or something like that.
Okay.
I would think that.
Yeah, there's a couple ideas in there. All right.
The Poison Ivy's greenhouse probably worked really well.
Yeah, and it also, because you got to walk those man things up, it's a little, the starting areas are a little closer together, so there's less distance to walk across the map. All right, and starting, Malcolm Rush wants us to rank, I didn't bring my pack into the car for this, all of the powers, from worst to best.
From the worst to best?
Okay, well, can we just unanimously say the worst power is still Leap Climb?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Yeah.
no.
There's something worse than Leap Climb?
I would love for you to sell me on something that's worse than Leap Climb.
Worse than Leap Climb? Well,
Standard powers.
the standard power that's worse than Leap Climb. Okay, this is opinion.
This has now just become this question.
This is
Yeah.
what's worse than Leap Climb? Nothing is worse than Leap.
This is the challenge. What can you sell me that's worse than Leap Climb?
Is this completely situational? For you? Worse than Leap Climb?
What?
Super senses. That's for you.
It's a feel
Leap
as bad.
Climb.
It's still a good power. It's a power that stopped me from hitting.
Yeah.
It's not it's my least favorite power, yes, but it's not the worst
I mean,
power.
okay.
We're talking
Generally.
strength. We're talking about strength, not
Okay,
favorites.
well then, yeah, leap climb is probably the worst.
Yeah.
That and phasing teleport. Probably.
I put phasing
my
teleport above
entire
that.
team is kind of crunched on phasing teleport.
Yeah, I would put phasing teleport over leap climb any day because phasing teleport automatically breaks away and also ignores all blocking. Whereas leap climb, you get a +2
I'm
when
thinking
you're
of the
using
leap
it.
climb people that can leap climb and like do something after they leap climb.
No, it's standard power.
Okay,
Because that is not a
power.
standard
Yeah,
leap climb.
no.
It's the same where I'm going to put smoke cloud next because smoke cloud is only good when it's not actually smoke cloud, it's a free action.
Yeah, smoke cloud is so good when it's a free action. It's so not worth actually paying an action for it.
Like the character that uses it has to be so bad for me to want to use a power action to do it.
Like barrier.
Barrier is a different beast altogether. I'll use a power action, use barrier. Because barrier puts a blocking terrain between you and me. You gotta work to get that. Smoke cloud only works if I have stealth. And while it does do the -1 attack, I would, and this is the thing, like after leap climb, everything is useful. You know what I mean? Because like from there, I would go, next would be Force Blast, I think. Just because getting knockback is great, but the other part of it, you also have to pay the points for, which is like if somebody is there and there is 2 active powers that stop knockback.
Yeah.
So
That are fairly prevalent too.
yeah. I would follow up with super strength because it literally just gives knockback and the ability to carry heavy objects, but it's not a bad power. It's just you've got to make it work, right? It takes too much to work. And again, the knockback is situational on them not having the same 2 powers, right? It's not a bad power and it fits on certain characters, but
Again, if you're charging in with somebody who's got charge already or combat reflex, it's like
yeah, and it's really just a +1 over being a character because characters can use light objects now. Back when super strength was needed to carry a light object, that was fine too. It was an amazing power, but it really kind of lost a lot of its stock value. Now that's not to say I won't use a knockback. I've used a knockback several times. Okay, so we're going back up here. I'm gonna say Steel Energy is super situational. It's a strong power when it works, but it's got to work and you got to be in the right position. So you got to do the work to do the position.
I feel like with Steel Energy, I never want it on the characters that have it. Like, it's really good with, like, the vampire characters and stuff, and it's good when you have it late dial, but more often than not, when you have that Steel Energy late dial, you don't have a stop click, you're not seeing that anyways, or, like, it's better when it comes from, like, an equipment or some other source is given. Like, if you have Steel Energy on your dial, it's like whatever, but if you can get it from another source, like during Fear itself when one of the hammers gave you Steel Energy, it was like, all right, then every hit is giving me that heal. It made it so much more potent, but now just as a standard power, just regularly on your dial and not a vampire dial, then it's like, yeah, okay, fine.
Well, that's like the Black Adam. The last 4 clicks of Black Adam, after you like that the Prime that they were discussing earlier, he's got like 4 clicks of Steel Energy.
Yep.
Like, why?
To try to keep him on those last 4 clicks.
I guess. I don't know. I never actually hit with him, so he just kept it going backwards.
Yeah. The next one I'm going to put up is I'm going to go Empower then Enhancement. I'm going to put Enhancement better than Empower because a range attack is a better attack to have to make, and an Empower you kind of have to force the way in. And it's only +1 damage. It's not helping you hit, it's just helping you hit harder. So it's kind of like you got to get the hit in the first place. And then the next one I'm going to put, and a lot of people would be like, Jason, you love this power, but I know that it's not the greatest power, and it's going to be Battle Fury. Battle Fury is good in the fact that you ignore a shape change, and mind control, and incapacitate. The problem with Battle Fury, though, comes next, is the fact that you have to make a close combat attack. You can't be making a range attack. So if you have range, you can actively remove a full stat that you have. Followed by the fact that you can't be carried, so you lose mobility. You can work around it, but at the same time, the value proposition of Battle Fury hurts individual of itself. And then I'm gonna. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna agree with you. I was gonna say energy explosion is probably the next one.
I was gonna say toughness, because it's just -1 damage.
Yeah, but that's good against people with poison. In a situation right now that we're in, although there's not a lot of heavy damage reducers, you still have people with toughness. You still have a lot of people with invulnerability, especially like these cosmic people that are showing up. An energy explosion, with although it's great, I don't,
It used to be better.
Well, okay. Energy explosion went from crap to balls out amazing to good, in my opinion. And I'm going to say that energy explosion can hurt toughness, therefore energy explosion is better than toughness. Because I could have 1 damage with energy explosion,
yeah, but
I'm doing
stops,
2.
Yeah, but toughness stops poison.
But I'd still say energy explosion is better than toughness, and toughness stops poison, sure, but a lot of, there's better powers that also stop poison as well. I'm going to put poison next because of how limited it is.
Now that we're talking about it,
and I'd actually,
how about some poison?
Sorry, I'd put poison below toughness, toughness above poison, energy explosion above both of them. Poison because of how limited it became. Back when you were able to take a free action at the beginning of the turn, you were able to sidestep and then still beginning of the turn poison somebody. It was super overpowered.
Outlet poison was like the greatest combo ever.
Yeah. Why roll dice to do damage? Bunch of suckers. That said,
the dice company want you to believe.
Yeah. But what ended up happening is they just took all the things that we were doing with poison and saying you can't do that anymore before you poison. Now, granted, we found our way around it. I can bring you to me and then poison. So there's all kinds of tricks and whatnot we can pull off with poison, but it is definitely, it got kneecapped hard, but I'm not putting in a bad power because you don't have to roll to do damage with it. So we're gonna go we'll go poison, toughness, energy explosion there. Actually, I'd put incapacitate below. No, incapacity has its uses. I kind of put it on par with energy explosion, so close to, if not slightly better than. Because even if it doesn't do the willpower, even if they have willpower or indomitable, they're not doing anything next turn. I don't know. Stop me if you guys disagree with me, by the way.
Mind control is probably the next one, only because of what they've nerfed it on.
Yeah, mind control used to be so strong. Now it's, there's a lot of situations where I don't want to mind control anymore. And when I do use it, it's because the character doesn't do any damage and I want to make an attack with it. So it's like, okay, fine. Maybe your characters will do some damage instead of mine. Jeez. When we start getting into the top, it's going to be... I kind of want to say, can we universally agree that probability control is probably the best power in the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Prob, outwit, perplex are all up there.
I'd put perplex above outwit because outwit has too much that stops outwit nowadays.
Yeah.
So I'd go prob, perplex, outwit if it was me.
Yeah.
Pulse wave after that.
Yeah, pulse wave after that. That's
there's so many, there's still so many that we haven't even touched though. We still haven't mentioned psychic blast or charge or running shot or hypersonic or blades or
leadership,
flurry or exploit weakness or combat reflexes or energy shield.
Well, I know that, Amber. I'm just saying.
No, that's what I'm saying is that trying to make this list is that we can agree what's at the bottom, we can agree what's at the top, but trying to put it in the middle, it's
everything else just kind of works.
There's 50 different powers.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And the problem is that we're basing this on how they combo sometimes with each other, which doesn't make it a better.
I was putting them individually and ignoring.
Well, I know that, but I mean, in some cases, there's a standalone power better because of range combat expert is great.
I would put charge above flurry because without charge, flurry doesn't really work, right? I would put running shot above charge because range is better than close combat in most cases, right? And energy shield above combat reflexes as a result. Psychic blast over exploit weakness because, again, range is better than close combat.
I'd probably put plasticity below flurry.
Yes, I would, because plasticity only stops you from running away. If they're there, okay, cool. I wanted you here. I wanted to be here anyway. Thanks for keeping me here.
Yeah.
Sidestep's up there towards the top 10, I think. Fight me if you disagree. Oh, sorry. No, I'll say sidestep is below charge and running shot, but not by much. Not by much.
No, it's now a matter of degrees as to, all right,
Yeah.
they're all like, 9 out of 10, but is one like 9 1/4, and is one like 9.1,
Yeah.
It's difficult when you get into the,
Yeah. So we're not going to rank the rest.
but thanks, Malcolm.
Yeah, barrier somewhere in there, for sure. All right, but he wants to know what your favorite and least favorite powers is. And yes, Aiden was right. I hate super senses because everybody rolls it against me. Even
And
with
you
my
can't
precision
roll it
strike
either.
now. What's that?
And you can't really roll it yourself sometimes.
Yeah, no, I can't make it myself. I hate the power. I hate it. My favorite power is sidestep. Bite me.
Favorite
Aiden?
power is blades. I
Yep.
love blades. Least favorite power is plasticity.
Fair enough. I just want to say, Aiden loves blades, and he always forgets that there's a new damage minimum on it.
It's true. But then again, I usually only roll a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, that's fair. Amber.
I would probably say my least favorite is Leap Climb because
It's just so bad.
just
You hate it. You actively hate it.
I actively hate Leap Climb. Like I know I've gone on tirades about it before. My favorite, I don't know, like maybe like I'm a really big fan of sidestep. Everybody should just have sidestep. I love sidestep. But I don't know if that's like my favorite power. Maybe like prop.
I have a love-hate relationship with props, so it's not my favorite power, that's for sure. All right, over the years, many of the standard powers have changed. What are your favorite and least favorite changes over the years? My favorite change was the energy explosion change in the last rule set,
Yeah.
and my least favorite is the poison change. Aiden?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you on both of those. Mind control was, I didn't really use mind control, so that's probably the only other major one that I can think of.
Okay.
So
Amber?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of what happened with poison and the fact that it's a lot less utilized than it was before.
Yep.
My favorite change, I'm gonna go with the change to blades and giving it a minimum damage.
That's cool.
But also, as a side note to that, is because I slightly influenced that change.
a side note that should be mentioned, that was a really great thing. I think the change to leadership
Oh, it was so good. Oh my god, it's so
increased
good.
that power and that need for a power on your team, so much so that I think probably since they've made that rule change, that's an active power that you look for in your figures. I mean, you look for outwit, you look for flex, but leadership, it's like, especially in a sealed event, where you're like, okay, who's got leadership? All right, I've got a 50-point figure with leadership. Here's the key word. Bob's your uncle.
I'm playing a team in Nationals with 5 characters with leadership.
Yeah, I got 4 leaderships.
I think I had 2.
All right.
3.
Favorite power combination? Geez Louise.
Flurry blades.
Charge flurry blades.
Oh.
Oh. Super Senses shape change impervious. I'm bound to make one of them. 1 in 3 odds. I'm bound to stop you somewhere. Okay, this one's gonna be a pretty easy answer. Which standard power still needs work? On 3, 1, 2, 3, leap climb.
Now, here's the problem though. We all disagree. We all agree that leap climb is the worst power. But what in the fuck are you gonna actually do with it? Like, it's basically, hey, let's give this guy the ability to get the fuck out of the fight. It's like, they're not going to do any... That's the reason behind... That would be my assumption behind the power. Because when you have people like the Hulk, who they start with leap climb, and they have, after he makes a move action, he can use Quake at no cost. Well, that's because he's in the comics. He starts off by leaping through the thing, and then he crashes in the middle of a city someplace and destroys a tank. Well, that's what it is. But you're not going to have that with a Noli or somebody like that.
Do you remember the old feat card Pounce?
Yeah.
Give that attack to it.
That's what I'm thinking. Make it like a charge or a running shot where you give him an attack, but it's not a closer range action, just an attack.
Yeah.
Make it like hypersonic.
And only on a change in elevation. There we go. I mean, it's a little more complicated, I get that. But
We're solving the
we're
issue.
trying to make it an interesting power. It's so boring. Though they don't give it to anybody anymore, too. That's another thing.
Well, because everybody they give it to now, they give it to as a special power that allows them to attack after they've leap climbed.
Yeah. All right. Which powers still get misused, or that people don't understand? Battle Fury. To this day, I see people letting people mind control them on Battle Fury. Like, you have Battle Fury. Stop letting that happen.
Two things. One, I think we've had this question before. And secondly, I think people still are confused with Pulse Wave. I don't know how.
No.
I personally, I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure that... But I mean, there's still people like, oh, I've got Pulse Wave. Does that mean my guy's going to be affected? Are you in a thin Pulse Wave range? Yes. Well, then yes. Oh, okay. You know, I think that's still... I don't know why. Maybe it's just...
They did say even with the changes to Pulse Wave, there'd still be a ton of questions related to Pulse Wave.
That's true.
But there's a lot less nowadays than
Yeah.
I can never imagine.
They took away the stupid area of effect thing.
Yeah. Well, now because basically the first thing it does is shuts off all powers in range. Boom, done. Doesn't even care about line of fire for that. There's anything in here is getting nothing. Then they change it to printed defense. Perfect. So, anyway. Amber, what do you think is still getting misused or incorrectly used?
I would say maybe not misused or incorrectly used, but
Misunderstood even.
misunderstood would probably be mind control now.
Yeah.
Because of they went so simple with it that it actually confuses people now that like all you're getting is a move and attack and like you get no powers. Now even that saying that is confusing because you get no active powers, but you still get any passive powers.
Precision strike,
Precision
etc.
strike, steel energy, I guess, but like
I'm not still energy for you.
yeah. But like that's the thing where it's, and I was actually watching this huge debate the other day that people were going on about mind control because everybody looks at it now as, oh, you can't use any powers, and it's like that's not entirely true because there are still some passive things that happen.
Yeah.
So I feel like mind control, as simplistic as it's been made now, has caused even more confusion than it did before.
Yeah. Also worth noting about that is that I found out I didn't read the rule book or use the example or anything like that. So in this particular case, but it came up when I was practicing with Jay, where it's like, hey, if you break away with mind control first, you're done, and you fail that breakaway. That's it. You're done.
Yeah.
If you fail that breakaway, it's like, oh, maybe next time I'll attack first. Oh, well, whatever. All right. Okay, so this is a silly question. What's your actual favorite color? The darkness void that is my heart is black.
My actual favorite color is green.
Likewise.
And now, as a result, in game, what powers do you have? With an all green dial, and they've got charge, super strength, energy shield, enhancement.
Wait a minute. Am I specifically dark green or am I specifically light green?
I'm going to assume if you didn't say lime green, that you're dark green.
All right, that's fair. I can accept the enhancement, energy shield, deflection charge, because God knows they made figures with those.
I have Raven's last two clicks with stealth, steel energy, regeneration, and outwin.
You have a full dial of steel energy.
I am always hungry.
Yeah.
All right.
You've outwitted the fridge.
Which standard powers are over and underused? I mean, obviously leap climb because it's bad. I'm not sure if he meant by game design or not. So I'm assuming by game design.
Yeah.
And they might be handing out a little too much super senses, in my opinion. That's just me, though. And that's not like because guys keep super sensing off of me. It's just that sometimes these guys don't. I always pictured super senses as spider senses. And that's like a Spider-Man specific thing. So you got to be like Spider-Man or Daredevil level of reflexes. I don't think some of the characters that are giving super senses quite deserve super senses.
I think shape change is something being handed on a little too much.
Yeah, that's another one. Amber? I'll let you think about underused for a second because I totally took you off of that.
No, I'm thinking.
Well, I was talking to Aiden on that.
Like, maybe perplex, but only because we give it, like, weird people have it when it comes down to it, because it always seems to be like that small support character, but then, like, why does that small support character have perplex?
Yeah. Aiden? Underused.
I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. I mean,
I said leap climb. You can draw it in if you want.
We're doing underused as in, like...
Design. Game design.
Game design? Okay.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I've never really thought if there's an actual game design power where they've said, you know, this doesn't, you know, there should be more. Maybe like enhancement.
I can think of one nowadays that I just totally realized they don't use willpower on dial as much as they used to anymore because they keep giving characters Indomitable.
Yeah,
That's true.
It's rare to see it on dial. I would actually go with support. We don't get a whole lot of medics anymore.
Fair enough.
No.
Yeah. Maybe.
Sorry.
Was it maybe their design flows? They don't want year one hero clicks anymore.
Well, I was gonna say it's probably because we didn't have, like, in the beginning when you had like shield medic, hydra medic, the aim medic, medic.
The paramedic.
Yeah. Excuse me. You know, it was a little bit more prevalent because you had like 9 characters in the set with it. Now it's like, okay, well, unless you're an actual doctor,
Like Dr. Frankenstein.
or somebody like that, it's like, okay. And then even then, sometimes it doesn't show up until like Dell. It's like, well, what the fuck am I going to do with this?
Why can't it heal me?
Earthbound neutralized. We never touched that. What do we think of that? I should go back. I just thought of that.
That's just a non. I feel like that's such a non thing.
Is it a non thing? Okay.
Like I think 1 or 2 characters have it anymore. I feel like they're slowly doing away with. You know, I used to pick it with Jakeem Thunder to get him carried.
Sorry, that was a D trap.
Yep. What color do you usually mistake for another on dial? I am notorious for mistaking the pink and the orange color powers these days. But 90% of that problem is lighting. I don't know. Aiden?
That's a lighting thing. I've had problems with the dark blue and black.
Okay. Amber?
It's for me. It's usually orange and red, so like super senses or toughness.
Yep.
And yellow and light green.
Does that defend? Is it combat reflexes? Well, why the fuck would it?
Is it nothing?
If the shield diplomat has like a 20 defense because combat reflexes, sure, what the hell?
How can they improve the on-dial color to help players' ink consistency?
That is not anything they can do. That's a manufacturing thing.
Well, that's what I mean. Ink consistency of ink on the manufacturing side. So
that's not even something the manufacturing. Like I could go on a whole tirade about that. That like the manufacturer themselves can't even fix that because that comes down to die production and die lots. And they could order, like they could have a solid supplier, one supplier, give them die lots for their printer, always the same thing, and 3 sets, you'll get 3 different sets of colors, even though you're using the exact same stuff from the same supplier all the time. That's just the way that color mixing works.
It just happens.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately, it just happens. Luckily, we have the card and the idea that there's no such thing as a hypersonicking smoke without Thanos.
This is one of many reasons why the dial on card is actually a good thing. My only problem back with when they officially put the dial on card at first was on the front of the card.
Which
I
is
thought
why
that was
we were very
stupid.
happy with
That was
compromise.
Yeah, compromise I can deal with. All right. What new color could be introduced and what powers would they be? No, we're fine. We're fine.
We've got enough fucking rainbows, Malcolm.
Amber,
At this point, the only way we're going to see things is like we're doing with the WWE Clix,
with the circle dials?
We have circle powers instead of square powers.
Yeah.
I mean, give us a star or something. Like, that's the only real way to go, because the only color they haven't really touched on the spectrum would be like a lighter purple somewhere in between the purple and the pink. And that would just, like, that's the only thing left on the spectrum that hasn't been touched, because we have light green, light blue, we have orange, yellow, light green, red. Like, the whole rainbow is there. You can't really get, and we even have gold and silver. Like, you can't really get any more colors other than the fact that now we're getting circles instead of squares. Like, that's how you move forward.
Circle gets a square.
Circle gets the square.
All right. This next set of questions are around team building. So, what do you look for when building a team?
My figures.
Honestly, I think I've come down to fun. Fun is a major factor. Would it be fun to do this cool thing? Would it be fun to do this cool thing? This team, can I have fun doing it? Because, and these guys were witness to it, unfortunately. Went a big tirade on trying to play the win. I don't like it anymore. It's too much, it's too hard, it's too bad, and you run into the situation where it's like, well, I'm gonna lose to this, and this. I'm gonna lose to this, and this. So I want to do my best these days. My goal nowadays is to make sure I can compete with those. Not necessarily win 100% of the time, but compete. And that's kind of my goal on that one.
I sometimes competitive. I do look at what is being used, what's out there, what's being stronger. I talk to people. When it comes to the casual stuff, and I've said this to people before, a couple of new players, is, you know what? Pick a figure that you've wanted, that you got, and you want to try out. Be like, I want to try using this particular piece and build around that. Because really, the minute you stop having fun with this game and you take it too seriously is the day that you're going to stop enjoying it, and that one loss is going to set you right off.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I kind of do what he does there, but I just take a page from a comic and be like, hey, I can make that page. Let's go.
Well, yeah, I mean, depending on your inspiration.
Yeah. Amber?
I'm in the same boat right now with building teams. It's like, oh, I haven't used this character yet. And then it'll be like, okay, what theme can I put around it? Where it's like, what keywords did I have? What even like kind of light theme I can put around it, like characters that show up together in the comics and stuff. And
keep going, Amber.
And then from there it's like, okay, well, how many points, whatever can I fit in there? But competitively, I don't build competitively. It hurts my head a lot. So I have to, Jason's been very good at helping me build for competitive, and from there it becomes what can I understand, because without going into huge details, my brain doesn't work well, because clearly English is not good for me to be speaking either. But yeah, it's hard for me to wrap my head around a lot of high competitive teams, so as long as I can find something that kind of fits into the competitive realm that I can wrap my head around, which currently is Medusa's, yay, then it works. But other than that, I don't build competitively, so it's just, what do I want to have fun with?
She's also not sympathetic to the plight of me trying to build competitively. All right, so he wants to know now, and this is, I'm going to call this the impossible question. How much should you put aside for a main or second attacker? And that is a non-number. Because it depends on which character you want to use and how they work. I mean, that's literally, there's no set formula to making a HeroClix team. There's multiple formulas and multiple directions, and it's really dependent on the strategy you want to go. So you start with point A, and you add point B to help that, and you look at it and say, why am I doing that? And there's, like, for instance, in the current game, while we're on our drive, the most dominant team is not even an attacking team. It's Kobik and Trader, and the Collins doing the hard work for the attackers. So the main attackers aren't even on the board, and that's kind of that's one of those situations right now where you can't answer this question specifically at all times. I could give you an obscure number. A secondary attacker should be 75 points and 100 points for your main attacker, and I might be wrong on one day where you're trying to build something. Or if I give you that hard number, you're going to limit yourself. You can't limit yourself. You got to be creative. You got to come up with ideas. You got to. It's more based on what you want to do than what you should be spending.
A lot. I agree with Jason. There's a lot of the flow from what used to be a main attack guy. Now, I haven't been playing as long as a lot of people out there, so I wasn't there at the beginning. I just collected, so I didn't play. But you had a lot of the main attackers, the beefier guys, were over 150 points or something like that, and they did well. And as it slowly trickled down into what we're currently facing, we've got really awesome characters out there in the common slots that are 100 points, that are 50 points, that can be a main attacker just on the power combination that they have provided. Look at Medusa. Look at Batman Beyond. Look at the Cable from the old Deadpool set. I mean, you had commons and uncommons that could decimate a a team that somebody's like, okay, well, what's this? So yeah, you have to get out of that mindset about building your points, and it's more along the lines of, okay, figure X, which would be my main attacker, and I never do that. I never say, okay, well, this is going to be my main attacker, and I'm going to have like 15 support pieces behind it. I don't like doing that. That's too much of a tent poling for me. I like to distribute the wealth. So having that kind of a situation for me.
Amber?
The only time I ever really do like, oh, I should spend this much on my main attacker or a secondary attacker is in sealed, because I have to build on the spot and I'm very limited in what I can build from and how many points I can build to. That being said, my current competitive team, as I mentioned, I'm playing Medusas. My main attackers are 0 point bystanders. So that formula is just not there anymore.
Yeah. Also, to go on Amber's, again, it's the same problem as you could set aside a certain number of points, but what if you don't pull anything worth that many points?
Yeah.
Or, what happens when you're like me and in a sealed you pull Kobik and your main attacker is a 65 point Okoye? So.
Well, in full fairness, did you generate the War Rhinos?
Well, yes, I generated the War Rhinos.
Yeah. Because that's another thing that you have to consider when you're building it. What other additional game elements do you have to bring in? Your character might be, you might have a support piece because he brings in the time gem or something to that effect, and he might not be your main attacker.
Yeah. All right, the next one. How much do you spend on supports, and what key points do you... Okay, and again...
I think, yeah, we
follows the same... And to just kind of point it out, whatever you need is what support handles. So, like, if you think you're going to need the guy to get healed, make sure you have a character who can heal them. Do you need Outwit to help that guy do a lot of damage? Maybe add Outwit. Do you need to increase his stats? Bring some Perplex. If you're not confident in your dice, you should never be confident in your dice. Bring probability control. These are all things you got to consider. And then it just becomes what can you add, and does it fall into the form factor of your team? All right. Next up is with ID cards. What ID cards are the key ID cards and characters to include? Now this one is time specific, so this will date this episode. Mm-hmm. But to undate the episode, you have to look at what your team does and either use ID cards to accentuate that or to fill in the weaknesses. Those are two ways ID cards are traditionally used. So in the current state of the game, you have Cyclops, you have Wolverine, you have Jean Grey, you have Iceman, very frequently being used. Now that flow is about to change because Regenesis is out, and when Regenesis is legal, which is late August, I believe, or mid-August.
I think it should kick in the first the 1st of August, because that's theoretically the start.
They actually had a date on the win. I didn't catch it. I think it might be August 17th or 7th or something like that. I don't know. But then Beast gets added to the ID card pool, and he adds like some really strong close combat effects or the possible outwit. So ultimately, what you have to look at as far as ID cards is what do you want your team to do. Now, specifically in the current state, Cyclops, Wolverine, Iceman, Jean Grey, Beast, like honestly, get the Blackbird and get all 6 of those IDs that come with it. That's step 1, because all of them are about to be super useful. I can't think of a single one that you can't not use. So from there, you can get your hands on one of either. Now, if you're looking for budget, Wolverine's Wanted card, pretty cheap, pretty inexpensive. Yeah, just kind of work your way around that, I think, is the best way to look at ID cards. And then if you have a very range-heavy team, but kind of limited in your range, so like you have 6 or 7 range guys or 5 or 6 range guys, but you have some really cool range effects, but you want to keep your opponent at range, Cyclops. Call in a Cyclops for a turn. He usually has 8 range, does a ton of damage at range. Use him, get him off the board, whatever. If your team is going in like Amber's, Amber, if she could be trusted to remember her ID card use, would be using Wolverine's ID card to add to her Medusa Swarm. It would be a monstrosity from hell to deal with.
I didn't even know you used ID cards. I mean, I played you twice with that team, and I didn't even know you'd used them.
She doesn't.
I don't.
Okay.
That's the thing.
That's why we don't use them.
Gotcha.
She can't be trusted to remember them.
Further, I think to what Jason was saying, it's...
Hold on. We're going again. Okay, good.
Further, you should also look at what besides the fact of what your team can do, you need to really remember your cost on your ID cards, because a couple things. Number 1, if you can get the free ID cards in using the Professor X, if you want to use Professor X, he gets a student ID card in for free.
Yep.
Bang. But remember your point values, because there are ID cards out there which are really, really great. Let's say, for example, the all-new Wolverine.
Yep.
The only one we currently have is 100 points.
Yep.
So you have to kind of remember that. I personally, I love ID cards. I think they were like the best thing that they've added. The wanted ID card, the wanted posters are going to also get a benefit from Regenesis, and the Uncanny X, or the Unlimited, the animated series one that's coming out in September.
Yep.
Because we already know we're getting a Cyclops, we already know we're getting a Wolverine, get a Beast, we're getting a Colossal Colossus.
We're getting a Colossal Iceman.
We're getting a Colossal Ice, yeah, he's in. And it depends on what it's just...
We're getting a Voltron Iceman. It's awesome.
We're getting 3 different Phoenixes.
Yep.
I'm just giving my entire month of September paycheck to WizKids.
Yeah.
No rent, no food. I just need everything. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
All right, Amber, anything you want to add to that, or?
I think the only one we just didn't mention was Harley is big right now, because there are the prevalence of swarm teams, and Harley's energy explosion is growth.
Yeah. Jubilee kind of does the same thing too if you don't have a 65-point character on your team. So, how much equipment and what type of equipment do you like? Once again, we fall into that same factor we ran into the first question, is what do you need? And what can make your team that much better? I think that's really the call to make on that one. So, for instance, the Vulture team is really good because you gave the Vulture Flurry with the Doc Ock arms. That was a good decision. But I'm not going to put the Doc Ock arms on my Cyclops. That is silly. So that's kind of you have to look at your team and go, what can the equipment do to make my team better? Now, there is some universally good equipment. The Symbiote, the Remaker Ring, which, both of those give shape change, and the Remaker Ring adds poison to the whole thing.
Rotated out.
No, the new Symbiote.
The new one.
Yeah, the Venom Symbiote.
Sorry.
It's all good. The Beetle Pod is universally useful, I think, too.
Goblin Glider.
Goblin Glider is pretty universally useful.
I like your
Pretty much
spinner.
any of the gems.
Yeah. What's that? You said you like something? Okay.
She said something about gems.
Yeah. All the gems are useful. All of them. Yeah, so it depends. What do you need on your team? Aiden, anything?
I'm glad that you started that because it's like, well, I don't know. It depends if I can find the riding crop. This is why Aiden doesn't.
This is going to be a weird weekend, apparently.
Apparently. I think it's just a matter of, first of all, look at if the figure comes with it. And if, you know, you're not paying the points if you're using, obviously, that character. But again, it depends on what you want with your character and what enhances perhaps your secondary attacker, your first attacker, stuff like that. And also plan for eventuality. And I will use, what's her name? Morgan Le Fay, Witch Queen Le Fay. If you gave her something like the Beetle Pod or
Exospecs is one way you're giving her a lot.
the Exospecs or the Goblin Glider, if she loses that power because she misses her turn at the beginning, or if she's knocked off of it and she only has sidestep and phasing teleport, she still has access to the running shot or the hypersonic or whatever that you happen to have for that.
Mm-hmm. Amber, anything you wanted to pop in there?
No, I think, like, I love the addition of equipment, and I think it's really great that you can basically find any equipment to work with your team. Like, regardless of what your team does, you could probably find an equipment that will work with it. But it's not as, like, incredibly universal as, like, say, resources were, where resources is like, whatever, doesn't matter what your team does, you're using this resource. So it's a lot more specific, but I actually like that.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, and the last one is, how do you make team building fun? And I always try to do something funny when I'm building my team. Or make a joke, and I end up giggling the entire time I'm making my team. Like, it's so funny. My police team is notorious for that. It's like, I'm going to make police team, and they're not going to have actual police officers. Wow, this was really good. You remember the police team with Banshee?
Yeah, it was Banshee and
Cerise, Rocket Raccoon, and the Central City Police Captain. It was the only actual police officer on my team.
Yeah, because,
started as a joke. That and my 15th anniversary team that I played the first year I played the Canadian Nationals. It was like the Book of Skulls and a bunch of 10th anniversary figures.
Battlefield promotion. That was a thing.
Yeah, and I was like, how can you even get the Battlefield promotion? Hold on, I think I can get Battlefield promotion. Because all those characters had ridiculously high stats, and then you just add in the hammers, like, now they're ridiculously ridiculous. What are defense values? I don't care.
I got a roll of 4.
Yeah.
In terms of team, yeah.
How do you make it fun?
Anything that you want, like, I want to use that guy. I want to try and figure out how that particular figure is played, because he's my favorite comic book guy. Oh my God, they're making a new whomever. If you get it and you want to play it and that's fun, do it. That's what you should be doing. And then again, you know, if you want to be ridiculous, be ridiculous. Be like, sure, whatever. Like, there's no way in hell this team would ever work on paper, but you know what? Let's just see what happens. That's it.
Amber?
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm going to be totally negative on this, but I don't like team building. I've never found a way to make it fun. I'm not the kind of person that sits there and, like, in their free time is like, I'm going to build a team. Look at these 50 teams that I built today.
That's right. I meant to hit Amber with that.
No, I know that. I'm like, that's what I do on my lunch break.
That was not a direct attack on you two. I swear.
It depends on your personality. It really
Amber
does.
doesn't know how to have fun making teams, because I make all of her damn teams.
Are you the eldest in your family? Are you the oldest child?
Yes.
Yeah. But Amber, are you?
No, I'm the youngest.
Yeah, see, it's the oldest child list making organizational OCD type thing, because I've got the same problem. It's like I've got a spreadsheet, I've got everything.
I'm so glad I have Amber to help me on our Hero Clix channel that we talk about team building on.
I never talk about team building.
Let's talk about sculptures.
sculptures.
Yeah, the best and worst, and he's given us a list of poses.
Oh.
So, what is the best and worst superhero landing pose on a dial? Do we even have that many superhero? There's a couple of them, I think, now I think about it. I think the new armored Spidey has a superhero landing pose, doesn't he? I think it's a pretty cool looking figure. And then...
Oh, he's going like this.
Oh, well then, the hell with that. I don't know. Who has a superhero landing, Aiden? You seem to know.
Superhero landing pose?
Uh-huh.
Oh, the rampaging Hulk.
Yeah, okay, that's a
where he's got, and it's got the little bits of rock that are flying out
that
on the
was pretty
pegs.
good, yeah. Back in the early days when those little flying bits of pegs was like, oh my god, game-breakingly awesome. Yeah.
Mocking me.
Well, no, I mean, at the time, it was.
because it was like the...
hugely dynamic sculpt for the time.
There was no such thing as dynamic sculpt back there, and it's like, they have the bits of rock on there, and collateral damage was game-breaking.
No, that was collateral damage.
No, but I'm saying collateral damage as a set, which came slightly after that, was game-breaking for the Hero Clix build, because they put bricks and stuff on the dials were going to look cool looking.
I was afraid of the Monsters and Mutations. Like,
I know the one you're speaking of.
Okay, I didn't know, because there's been a lot of them, and the way that you were going on. Probably... I don't like the ones where it's got like the guy and they're like swinging on the web or on a line, and it's like an inch of the line.
We have a lot of these to go to, so let's focus on the superhero landing.
Oh, sorry. I can't think of anything else.
All
it's the
right.
only one I can legitimately think of.
Amber?
Yeah, I can't think of anything
Okay.
that actually have that.
It's cool. Next one is sitting down, and I'm taking Aiden's. Martian Manhunter on the Throne of Oreos is the best sitting model ever. And the worst sitting model is probably Name of Professor X and not the cool wheelchair. In a standard wheelchair. Those are just...
Okay, first of all, that standard wheelchair one where it's the prize, he's got running shot for some fucking reason, and it's awesome. The best sitting one is the Hades super rare from the Wonder Woman Superman set.
That's a pretty cool figure.
That's a pretty one. The worst sitting on anything, it's that Imperial Hydra, where it's the exact same chair from this Green Lantern sculpt, and it's like, why does he only have 6 movements? Well, he's got to carry on that fucking chair. I also don't like the Kang thing, where he's like, the new one, the title character from the new set, where he's like, hi, I'm a 1960s James Bond
pew
video.
pew, boys.
Bang bang.
Amber?
I'm gonna say the best sitting sculpts. I'm gonna say it's tied between Tippy Toe and Black Cat.
What's the worst?
I'm gonna say Magneto in the wheelchair from Days of Future Past, because that particular wheelchair always broke.
Fair point.
Well, it was broken when, I think, to begin with, because he was using his magnetism to...
All right, next up, riding something. No, Aiden, not that way.
I know, I'm trying to think of stuff.
I like the new Damian Wayne riding the bat. That's pretty cool looking.
Like that big monster thing?
Yeah. And I'm going to go with worst being the... I'm going to pick something Lord of the Rings. No, I'm not going to pick anything. I can't even think of Lord of the Rings like off the top of my head. Worst figure of somebody riding something. They're also good. Like, most of the ones they've made are pretty dynamic and awesome looking. I don't know. Think about your best while I think about my worst.
Okay. The best... Loki riding the wolf from Fear itself.
Pretty cool.
I thought that was a fun... It's a fun figure. It's like he's riding a fucking wolf. Like,
yeah.
The worst...
Oh, I think I know mine. Fantastic Forces Valkyrie. Those all look like butt.
You broke Aiden.
Yeah, because she's not in that set.
Is she?
No. She's not riding a horse until Hammer of Thor.
All right, no, you know what? The Hawkeye looks terrible in that set. There.
I'm
Okay.
thinking of Mirage.
I'm thinking
On her.
even worse, Mirage on a
on
horse.
her
It'll look like butt.
The worst.
Amber, while Aiden thinks of his worst.
Okay. So my favorite is actually the newer Valkyrie from what was that? Avengers Defenders?
Yeah.
And the worst is Jason kind of jumped in on it, but it's not Mirage, but it's still Fantastic Forces, and it is the Hawkeye on the Sky Cycle because it's fucking Hawkeye riding the Sky Cycle.
I like that. See, I have no problems with that. I
hated that sculpt so much.
Doesn't have to necessarily be bad to be the worst, or what you think is the worst.
Okay. I want to take mine back.
What, your favorite?
My favorite.
Okay.
I love the new Ghost Rider Mammoth.
New Ghost Rider Mammoth is amazing.
The Ghost Rider Mammoth is amazing.
Yeah. And
Lobo
we
on
called
his
that one.
motorcycle.
Lobo on his motorcycle, whoop-de-doo. I do like the dupe on a motorcycle. That's pretty awesome. All right, next up, standing around. DC 75th is the worst of that, right? Like
It's like
all
the entire
figures.
fucking set of
the
just
entire
waiting
set.
for the bus.
But what is the best figure of a dude just standing around?
Well, is he just standing there? Or is he like pointing?
What's the best bus waiting pose, I guess he's asking? You know what? It might actually be DC 75th, but the Superman with the big shield in the background. That
Yeah,
one,
he's kind of
the
just
chase
standing there. I'll give you that.
I'm going with that one. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Like that was the high point of a bad set. That was that Superman? The set,
That
now
was
I think
Superman
about it?
because he's got the eagle. It's the first
No.
appearance this one.
But is that the Superman set of DC 75th?
Oh, it's DC 75th.
Okay. What about you, Aiden? What do you think?
Where he's just standing around. I like. Well, no, because he looks like he's moving in that one.
Which one?
The Martian Mentor, the 300 point. The John Constantine, excuse me.
Ooh, with the big yellow thing
with
behind
the
him?
thing from the Jail of 52
Yeah.
set.
That was good.
neat.
That
and
was
easily
gnarly.
find in your booster pack.
Yeah. Amber?
No, I don't think I have one.
It's usually somebody with something in the background to make it look good. Didn't you like the Moondragon? From Avengers Defenders
No,
War?
it was the similar kind of thing, but it was the gosh, what was her name? Lorith.
Ah,
Superman and Legion of Superheroes.
there you go.
She had the portal behind her, but I think she's technically coming out of that portal.
Yeah.
I don't know if that considers standing around. No, Lyssa Drac.
There you
There
go.
we go. Where she has the book in front of her.
Yep. All right. Oh God, there's a lot of these. Best and worst flying pose. Worst flying pose? Guy Gardner Red Lantern, because he doesn't have flight.
No. It's the same thing as the, all right, I'm going to steal from you from Roar of Light. Skippy. The Parallax Skippy, where he's clearly flying, but he doesn't have flight.
Amber, you got a worst on this one?
Worst flying? I'm going to go with, because it's in my head, I recently saw it, Fire from, oh God, what set would that have been?
Collateral Damage?
Collateral Damage, where she's just kind of like a flame, but they made her really, really tiny and
Yep.
fragile, and like, it could have been so much more dynamic than it was. Like, it just could have been better than it was, and I think that's my problem with it.
Yeah. And best flying pose? It's a Superman. I'm gonna go with Icon Superman. Just because it was so iconic and the fact that it stayed flat on the peg. So yeah, I'm gonna go DC Icon Superman. Aiden? Also, we're being distinct between flying and hovering. I just realized. So.
Oh. Okay then.
A lot of Magneto's hover.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of figures that are just kind of hovering. Because the Elseworlds Superman looks amazing, but he's not flying, he's hovering.
Yep.
Well, shit, I don't know if he's flying in this or if he's not. But I thought, and it's a terrible figure, but the Vision going through the wall from Age of Ultron.
Yep. Cool.
Was kind of a neat sculpt.
Amber.
For favorite flying, I'm gonna go back to the original Crypto.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, and now hovering, I'm gonna go with cool being the Kingdom Come Superman from Crisis, and the worst hovering figure is Magneto Realist.
Is he flying in that?
Hovering.
Oh, hovering.
Like dynamically, they're standing. They're standing while in air. Oh wait, I'm taking mine back. Cosmic Boy or Lightning Lad, sorry, from
God, we're going that far back?
yeah. What was the first DC expansion? Not the first, not Hyper Time, but the one after that was
Cosmic Justice.
Cosmic Justice. There we go.
Favorite hovering. My
This
favorite
goes
hovering
hard.
sculpt is the Kingdom Come Chase from, or Unique, or whatever he was, from the Unleashed set.
Okay.
That was the first time we got him. A very second runner-up is the Green Lantern Kingdom Come, where he's got the sword and he's just kind of like.
Yep, I know the one.
Worst hovering is like it's. I don't really know. I'm gonna go with that fire thing because I don't know if she's flying in that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't. I know she flies, but it's like, hey, I'm just kind of standing here.
Amber.
So my favorite hovering is just going to be the original Dark Phoenix with full Phoenix behind her.
Yeah.
Now, originally I would have said that it's the Dark Phoenix Cyclops because I cannot handle the fact that he is off-center in that Phoenix. It drives me so crazy. But I actually just recently thought of one, and I can't remember the set that it's in, but Captain Britain, and it's not actually Captain Britain, it is the Ellie of Psylocke.
Oh, the one where she's in the cloak and.
Yeah, all they did was take the Psylocke figure and put it on a flight stick.
That was Armor Wars.
Armor Wars,
Yeah.
yeah. Drives me, I hate it so much. Like, they couldn't have even just painted her different. Like, it's not even the Captain Britain uniform. Like,
They did that for Zord.
All right, let's try to get through these, and then we'll take a bit of a break on this episode. Oh man, we're already an hour in. Malcolm's got us. All right, favorite running pose? Just pick any Flash for me. I don't like it. And as far as worst, I think Triplicate Girl looked like butt. She was running, right?
Flying.
Tripping?
Flying?
Triplicate Girl?
Yeah, all Legionnaires were flyers.
Yeah, but she looked like she was tripping.
Phantom Girl? Because the most recent Triplicate Girl is just standing.
Oh, it's not Triplicate Girl. Maybe I am thinking about Phantom Girl.
Because Phantom Girl is kind of like leaned over going through a pyramid.
Yeah, she looks like she's tripping. Tripping straight balls. Aiden, favorite running, least favorite running?
Favorite running is...
Some of these gets really specific too, so.
Oh, DC 75th Flash
Cool.
was a cool... Actually...
Was that the 3-stage Flash?
No, that was the Crisis one.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to change that. A really cool running one, I think, is it's the Green Lantern Flash duo from Brave and the Bold, where Hal is creating the ramp for Barry,
Yeah,
and he's running up the ramp.
that's cool.
I'm going to give that one.
Least
the
favorite
worst.
running?
It's the Flash Superman from the same set. It's like, what the hell? Really? And then you have to pick, like, okay, only one. You get down to, like, only hypersonic. It's like,
All right, Amber.
My favorite is actually Kid Flash from Teen Titans, where he has the full whoosh behind him.
Full whoosh.
The full whoosh, full colored whoosh behind him.
Yep.
And I would probably say my least favorite is, I don't know, pick a Quicksilver. They never look good.
Fair enough. All right, favorite pose using a weapon. I like the red She-Hulk. That's a pretty cool one using a weapon. My least favorite one using a weapon. Frankenstein doesn't look great. The what's the set?
Oh, Trinity War?
Trinity War. Yeah. No, there's worse than that. Hold on. What's his name with the swordsman? Boring. Aiden.
Okay, I'm gonna start with my worst.
Yeah.
This is probably universal. Where they have people who are holding guns and they don't give them range.
Oh, you mean like Zombie Red Skull?
Like, hey, I'm shooting 2 guns, but I don't have a range with it.
Okay.
Favorite with a weapon? Yeah. Red She-Hulk with the big ass sword was cool.
Yep. You're allowed to share.
I know. I can't think of anything else really.
All right, Amber.
I am gonna go with the red She-Hulk, but also because I modded that skull.
It's on our wedding cake.
Yeah, it's on our wedding cake, and she's holding a bouquet instead of the sword.
Yeah.
Least favorite, I think, is Punisher with the machete, because why?
He's machete. All right. How about using their power? My favorite of somebody using their power would have to be Punisher. No, I'm just kidding. Somebody using their power. That's such a weird one. I mean, all the Flashes are using their power because they're running. Because that's what Flash do. He run fast. No, you know what? The Black Adam with the George Massey design with the big lightning bolt in the back. I mean, he's calling in the lightning, right? Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one as a favorite. And my least favorite is every single time they make a Thor with the thinnest little like lightning bolt stringy things coming out of it, they just break every time.
Favorite use of power. I really like the Cyclops SR pose.
Yep, where he's shooting in the air.
Shooting in the air. I know that, and I think that's actually comic derived.
Very likely.
There's enough times he's done that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm
Like
moving the camera around because I dropped my wallet.
Least favorite use of powers. Oh my god. There's that terrible X-23. It was like her first sculpt. I think it was Monsters and Mutations, and she's wearing the brown suit.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't hug me. It looks terrible.
All right. Amber?
So I would say my favorite use of powers. Originally I was thinking of the Scarlet Witch from
Do you need to make a stop? It's in 3 kilometers.
Yeah.
You need to make the next stop.
I can't remember which set it was, but it was before the switch over from the RAVs. It was the last RAV one, and she's just like up with her arm up, and she's holding like the crescent moon thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love that sculpt. But then Aiden mentioned Cyclops, and I actually really love the kid Cyclops from Uncanny X-Men. When they did the time displaced
He's got the
original
swoosh.
5, and he's got the swooshing I-beam. I think
That's
that
cool.
one was really cool. Least favorite, and I think it's probably gonna be, I'm gonna go with Pirate Wolverine. I still don't really know what that was from, but he's wearing a bandana instead of the mask.
Oh, that was from like the Onslaught era Wolverine.
Oh, that's when he's got
He's got like bone claws, and he's wearing like a.
It's when his adamantium was ripped out of his body.
It's just. I mean, I can say that he's actually using his powers because those are his original bone claws and not the adamantium claws.
Yeah.
But I hate that sculpt. It looks so bad.
All right. I think action and fighting kind of cover on using their power.
Well,
I don't know. I would say a really great action pose is the super rare Wolverine.
I'll go with that. I agree with you. It's probably one of the more dynamic looking.
I guess fighting would be the Civil War, Captain America, and Iron Man, the way they line up.
There's a Wolverine and Sabretooth that do that too.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, they're both on like a snowy rock and they kind of like face each other.
Huh.
And figure carrying something. I mean, I said the Black Adam, joking the dude. That's something. Aiden?
The Crisis Chase Superman, or whatever it was, where he's got the big rock.
Carrying the big rock?
Yeah. I got the Earth 2 Superman.
I can't think of any of those that I don't like, per se.
That stupid Stargirl sculpt. Whoops.
Oh, the one where she's on the thing carrying Alex Avila?
Sure.
You don't like it?
It looks weird.
Mm.
I mean, nothing against Mr.
Avila
or anything like
one
that.
world, so can't really have anything against him. All right, we're making our first stop. This will be a first break in several episodes. I'm sure this is going to take up.